Hi guys, welcome back to Geterbrewed. So today we're going to look at making a wine kit in 7 days. So we have a few options for 7-day winemaking kits. So the Australian Blend range and the Solomon Grundy Platinum range. So today I've chosen to make a Australian Blend Pinot Grigio. So first of all, let's take a look. So when you open the box, you have your instructions and little sachets of ingredients, additives, yeast, etc. And then you have a jerry can of grape concentrate. So we have in this a packet of wine yeast and nutrient, a stabilizer, and then a set of finings. Now, as with all winemaking kits, it's your choice what you choose to add. Obviously, you're always going to need yeast or a yeast and yeast nutrient pack because it's going to need to ferment to create the alcohol. It's then your choice if you're wanting to add the stabilizers or the clearing agents, because it's not 100% necessary. Some people try to do it that way because they maybe want to make the wine vegan friendly, or they maybe don't want to add sulfites because they're trying to eliminate the headache that you would get from sulfites, which you would see in some commercial wines. So really simply, instructions, and it breaks it down in multi-languages there also as well, and takes you through step by step what you need to do. So for me, the first thing I'm going to say is make sure that everything's sterile. So 3 things: SIT, sterilization, information, temperature. If everything's sterile and it's had the correct contact time with the sterilization solution, it means that you're starting with a sterile and sanitized equipment. That means everything that comes into touch with the wine that you're making. So I'm going to pop, I've got my paddle, hydrometer, and bottle filling stick, everything into what is a sterilizing solution inside here. I have put a little bit of sterilizing solution into this fermenter and popped the lid on and filled the airlock with a little bit of water. So you can see the foam from the sterilizing solution on the back of the lid there, and you can see that we've got some of the sanitizing solution inside the airlock, and inside the fermenter you can see this is the solution. So I've been mixing this around inside, and I'm just going to pop that back into the sterilization bucket. So don't worry about the foam, it's a non-rinse sterilizer that I've been using. Let's take the grape concentrate. Taking our jerry can of grape concentrate and just pouring that pouring that in, obviously being careful at the speed at which you pour it in so it isn't japping out everywhere. This is one of the kits that has the sugar contents already in the concentrate, so you've no need to add extra sugar or anything like that. So we've got that in. It's a good idea obviously to use our jerry can to get a little bit of warm and cold water into it to make sure that we get the last of the contents out. So just pour a little bit of water in. Now this water that I'm using here is a mixture of hot and cold, so I put a couple of kettles of boiling water into the jug and then topped it up with cool water. The reason I'm using the mixture of the boiling water and the cold water is we want to take it to 23 litres, and we want to take it there at approximately early 20 degrees, depending on what temperature you're aiming for with what wine kit. In this particular wine kit, I'm going to aim for 21 degrees. So a little bit of water in there just to capture the last of the grape concentrate that's in the jerry can. So we give that a good mix and just popping that back into the fermenter. So that's that complete. So I want to take our beer paddle or wine paddle, mixing paddle, whatever you choose to call it, out of the sterilizing solution and give that a nice mix. So you're wanting to mix the water with the grape concentrate to make sure that everything's equally distributed before you take your hydrometer reading. And the reason you're taking a hydrometer reading is so you can check the sugar content in the wine so that you can monitor fermentation. So We have a video on YouTube showing you how to use a hydrometer, so I'm not going to go into that in any detail today. To monitor the temperature of the fermentation bin, we use these little stick-on LCD thermometers, and it measures the temperature of the wine in the fermenter. So I'm just going to pop that on the front there and stick that on. So I can use that to monitor when I'm adding a mixture of hot and cold water to try and hit the fermentation temperature that I want to hit. So where we're at the moment is we've added the jerry can of grape concentrate, and we've added a jug of warm water, which contained a couple of kettles of boiling water and a little bit of cold water. I've got some cool water now. My aim is to take it to 23 litres and hit a starting temperature of early 20s, so 20 to 22. So I'm just going to fill that up to 23 litres. Keeping an eye on the little stick-on thermometer so we can see what temperature we're at. Just over 19 litres at the moment, 22 degrees. So the last little bit, just add a little bit at a time. Just double checking what temperature we're at and using our sterilised paddle to mix the wine concentrate well with the water. So I've been adding a mixture of hot and cold water, jumping between a kettle of boiling water and some cold tap water. And our temperature's got close to 24. And we want to just drop that a little bit. So I'm at 21 litres at the minute, and I'm taking it up to 23. So I've got some nice cold tap water. I'm just going to bring that up to the 23 litre mark. What we're wanting to do now is just give it a really good mix to get the grape concentrate well mixed with the water. And then we're going to take a hydrometer reading. So the hydrometer reading can be taken in the bucket, but I find it harder to read in the bucket, so usually what I would do is draw a sample off using the tap. So one of the reasons why we put a tap in all of our 33 litre fermenters, or all of the Geterbrewed fermenters, is that it allows you to do siphonless transfers and also to take hydrometer readings with ease without popping the lid of the bucket open and putting a wine thief and things in. So you've got your sample in your test tube and drop your hydrometer in, just give it a little spin, and you take the reading and record the reading on your instructions so that you've got a record of what the starting gravity is. It's where the contact at the top, so where it touches. So packet one is the yeast, nutrient and the wine yeast all in the one pack. Now the reason I'm dipping this into the sterilising solution is to ensure that the outer contents of the packet are sterile, and also sterilised this before. We'll do it again, just the knife or the scissors that you choose to open the packet with. So you want to go to all the hassle of ensuring that all your equipment is clean and sanitised, and then ruin it by using a dirty pair of scissors or a dirty knife, or indeed the outside of the packet having a microbe or something on it could spoil your wine. So we just cut this open and sprinkle the contents onto the top of the wine that we've created. So the yeast and the yeast nutrient allow this wine to ferment out really quickly. So it's a 7-day wine kit. So that's the yeast and the nutrients added. So then we want to put our lid on, and you can see that the lid is sanitized from earlier, and I put it facing the other way around so that it's not touching the surface, and just secure the lid the whole way around. So we don't need to stir the yeast and the nutrient. Once it's added, it'll get to work on its own. So nice good seal all the way around the fermenter, ensuring that our bubbler airlock is half filled, so that allows the carbon dioxide that's created during fermentation to escape, but doesn't allow anything else to get in contact with the wine. So we're putting a little bit of sanitizing solution in the airlock and just half fill it. It's really quick, really easy. A wine kit or a beer kit at this sort of homebrewing level shouldn't take you any longer than half an hour of your time, so it's a very quick and super easy process. What happens in the next stage is really important, that the fermentation takes place at a constant, precise and consistent temperature. So we want to place this into a fermentation chamber or into a room that can hold a stable temperature at 20 degrees. And fermentation can take, in this particular kit, it'll probably take 5 days for the fermentation to complete. But we can monitor the fermentation and how it's getting along by taking hydrometer readings and tells us, and just follow the instructions that come with the kit step by step. This has now been fermenting for 5 days. The bubbles have came to an almost stop. That's an indication that fermentation is complete. When we started the kit, we had the instructions and wrote down the date and the starting gravity. So I use a little app on my phone that works out the ABV for you. There's lots of different companies out there. The one that I use is Brewer's Friend. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, it's just that I've used it right from I started homebrewing. So if you take the starting gravity of 1076 and then take the gravity that we have at the minute at 998, that's giving you a ABV just over 10%. The next stage, what we want to do is there's obviously the finings and stabilizer. So the next process is that you would transfer the wine to a second fermenter and degas that and add 2 and 3 and then leave it a few hours and add sachet 4. So at this stage what we're going to do is we're going to transfer to a clean fermenter. Again, at this stage, great emphasis on ensuring everything's sterile, everything that touches it. And what we're going to do is just take the liquid above the sediment level and transfer into another clean fermenter which we've sterilised. You can see a little bit of the sterilising foam is still on the inside of that and the paddle. So we have some options now. You could use some of this PVC tubing which will just easily pop over the tap, or if you're set up with a different starter kit that doesn't come with a tap, you could use a siphon to transfer from this vessel to the other. What I'm actually going to do is just open the tap and allow it to flow. It's actually a really nice smell coming off the wine. This Pinot Grigio smells incredible during and after fermentation. If you were brewing a hoppy IPA, you wouldn't want to be doing this because you'd be oxidizing the beer, and also the less transfers carried out in beer making, the better. Whereas wine, what we're going to do at this stage is give it a really vigorous stir to degas it. So what I do at this stage is just open the tap and allow it to fall. It helps in the degassing process, and you can see a lot of the bubbles forming on the top as it's falling down in. Now when we mix that, the more you mix it, the finer the bubbles get, and that's what you want to achieve. So you want to be getting that nice foam on it to start at the mixing process, and as you continue doing that, then it turns into finer bubbles. If you don't carry out the degassing process, you'll have an unusual flavour. Not an unusual flavour, you'll have an unusual feeling on your tongue. It's like a prickly feeling because it hasn't been degassed properly. What I'm wanting to do now is just maximise how much liquid that I'm getting out of the batch. So I'm just going to tilt this forward ever so slightly to allow me to get as much of the wine off the sediment and wine lees that sits in the bottom. So the foam on top is actually a good sign. It's showing that we are removing the oxygen or carbon dioxide, degassing it from suspension within the wine liquid. The line of sediment is just starting to appear. So that's the yeast and fermentation sediment dropping to the base of the fermenter. Obviously there's a fine balance, just be careful you don't transfer a load of sediment in. So this is your primary fermentation vessel. Its use has been complete at this stage, so you can clean that out and start another batch. This is our batch of wine that we're going to degas now. So degassing is incredibly important in winemaking, especially for the 7-day wine kits, and you're wanting to make sure that you're getting all of the gases that are in the wine out. And you'll see as I'm stirring that there's a lot of foam appearing, which is showing that the gas is coming out. And you may want to return to the fermenter several times to do this over a period of a couple of hours. Obviously the bigger bubbles, the more you mix, they'll turn into finer bubbles, which is showing that what you're doing is working. Okay, so you can see now in the fermenter that the more we stir this, the smaller the foam bubbles get, which is a good indication to show that what we're doing is working. So I'll take the packets that we're going to add and give them a little bit of a sterilize with the sterilizing solution. And again, I had the scissors in there as well. So sachet 2 is the stabilizer. Sprinkling it in, and then we'll give it a really good mix. So that's the stabilizer. And then findings, it's numbered number 3. Use those first, and then allow a couple of hours, and then add findings number 4. Put the lid on it, let it sit for a few hours, and then we can come back again and add the next set of findings. So we've come back now a few hours later, and we're going to add findings 4. We'll just pour that in, and then we'll give this another really good mix. You'd want as much of the foam gone as possible, so you may need to come back to this a few times. So now this should take probably, you know, at least a day. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer, so patience can be useful here, and it should produce a nice, clear, very flavoursome Pinot Grigio white wine. So we're at the bottling stage now of the 7-day white wine kit. So we've got our twin lever corker, we've got some corks and some pre-sterilised glass bottles. What we're going to do is attach the bottle filling stick to the tap, turn the tap on. Once the bottom, the spring-loaded part of the bottle filling stick hits the base of the bottle, the liquid will start to flow, the wine will start to fill. We take it up till we see that it's just getting about here, and then as we pull away, the flow will stop from the bottle filling stick, and once we take it off, you should find that the fill level should sit just above the neck of the bottle there. So I'll just pop this onto the, see, bottle on. Once it hits the base, the wine starts to flow. You see, nice clarity in the wine, lovely aroma coming off it. So I like to let it just run up into the neck of the bottle, pull away, and you can see that it naturally drops to just below the neckline there. So twin lever corker, you just load your cork in here, place this over the top of the bottle, make sure you get a good grip with the handles onto the neck of the bottle here. Now remember, when you're pushing down, you're forcing the cork into the bottle, so be careful of stability. So nice smooth action. Usually what I find is if you put your thumb straight onto it, that helps push that down in. We can hear there that it's forced the cork well and truly home. Just remove this off. Okay, so there you go. There's how to make white wine in 7 days. It's really simple, it's really easy, it's very rewarding. You've got a really nice clarity Pinot Grigio white wine, incredible value for money, unbelievable flavours, and I think you'll genuinely be impressed with just how good this wine is for as little as £1 a bottle. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy brewing.